Hello, welcome back. Excuse me. Great way to start out. Berserk Volume 5. Okay, this, picks up, like every other book I've said, this picks up right after, the Golden... Is it Golden Age? Yeah, Golden Age 6, and then we're into 7 now, which Guts, joins the Band of the Hawk, and been promoted to, commander rank of some sort, and this is kind of oh wait, that's later on. Now, Guts is kind of put through a trial of kind of trial by fire or whatever you call it, and is given the role of being the backup to help of the end of the line of the horses and things, and I don't know battle strategies. Kind of like the caboose that kind of protects the rare end troops and strategizing, and I'm not good at these things. Whatever, he's at the end of the line while running with the horses to defend off the invading forces and so on and so forth. He does a pretty good job, with his giant sword swinging through armor and cleaving through helpless enemies. And he gets caught off guard. His horse gets shot in the face with a couple arrows. He dives down, and he thinks he messed up, but then suddenly Griffith appears and saves him from the villains, as they were. And Griffith pulls him up on his horse. They travel through. When they reach to the front of the castle, they disperse and waiting for the enemy forces as a lineup of cannon fire. So it's kind of like feeding them through. It's kind of like filtering them through into a blast fire, and just like it's a pretty cool strategy plan. I think it's quite brilliant. Or I think it's kind of hard if you're a writer and also an artist, kind of depicting the brilliance of battle strategy. I think it would be to claiming somebody's a brilliant strategist and trying to pull that off in fiction and really make it convincing. And here I think he does a pretty good job. Or is that just easily impressing me because the art is so beautiful, and plus portraying Griffith as a charismatic leader and somewhat eccentric is quite easy for me. Moving on from that, they have a great celebration party for the victory, and everyone's surprised that these lonely band of mercenaries are so inept at what they're doing. Is inept right? Yeah, adept. Inept is bad. Whatever. But it's just kind of like a great kind of party they have. They drink, they have fun. But who's waiting there on the ledge? Just not suicidal, but just standing there waiting, or sitting back and just being by himself, all morose. Of course, it's Guts. And they bring him in. They have a party, and they kind of initiate him into the group, and they're all impressed by him. And it's kind of a nice, warming feeling, just like first time in Guts' life since Gambino, his father, his adoptive father, but I think being the only father he's had that is his true father, Gambino, that he's felt truly accepted. And though they're far kinder than Gambino ever was, in here that you really do feel of warmth, that Guts feels accepted and he feels generally happy in first time in years in his life. Yeah. But come morning time, Guts finds Griffith taking a bath, sponge bath as it were, and they kind of cleverly cover up his dangly bits. But they have a water fight, which you can chalk up to some kind of homoerotic kind of situation. It's the bromance, as it were. But what not. And here that we get the first glimpse around Griffith's necks of the Bailet, which we all know now from the previous issues, which is currently happening, but this is like all flashback kind of origin story, as it were, right now in these. I think it's up until volume 8 that this happens, and we get back to what's currently happening. But right now, I kind of like this flashback sequences. One giant long back. I think it's volume 3 and up. Anyway, he shows him the Bailet, and he tells him that he got this from some gypsy woman who says that whoever possesses this has great power, and that's my soul. That's my dad's cell phone. God damn it, pick it up. Anyway, um, anything else? He found a great gypsy woman, and he says whoever owns this will be the conqueror of the world. It's the egg of the emperor, as it were, and it really opens up. And from the next chapters going on, the story now opens up from the anime. Be like, what is fate or something like that? Is it some transcendental identity? Is it the fate of God? And it's really kind of a neat kind of metaphor. Are we really in control of our destiny? Are we destined for predetermination and all that type of jazz? I like that. I like that kind of thinking. Are we set to our paths, or do we make our own story? Moving aside from that, I really like this volume. It's really good. This is the first time in here that Guts has ever faced a supernatural being. It takes now. What happens next? I think it's three years later. Yeah, 3 years later. Guts is bigger, stronger, faster, whatnot. He's been with the Bandle Hawks. He's been the commander general for a special sector of his mercenary group which he commands. Like, say, he's like the mounted horseman guard. He's the guy who comes in and fucks shit up with his group. So he has a whole sect he commands. That's pretty neat. But him and Casca are still on uneasy ground, even through these past 3 years. Even Guts disobeys Griffith's orders, like saying, flank this area, use your men, but Guts will say, no, I'll do that all by myself, and Casca gives him hell for it, for abandoning the plan and just going berserk all by himself. Moving aside from that, Casca, when the battle was over, Casca pulls Guts aside, gives him shit. They have a kind of a heated argument. Aside from that, Griffith breaks it up. Griffith kind of cools the water. But up next, the nobles of the land that they've been protecting for the past couple of years have been becoming wary of this mercenary group. They're outshining our best knights. What's wrong with these commoners, kind of thing. It's very political and hierarchy type of business, which I do like, that kind of old-fashioned politics. They're just the serfs. We cannot let them usurp us and stuff like that. How can they? It's that whole kind of like, he's a low-class Saiyan. How can he? It's that kind of hierarchy and superiority complex that I do like in books. We're better than them, blah blah blah. I just love that whole dynamic. Moving aside from that, the next mission they have is to storm a castle, break through it, then until they reach a certain spot, and they become a hidden trouble. Before earlier, I think it was Pippin, or I think it was Rickett, and some other guys were talking about Nosferatu ZODD, which is a legend, who is a battlefield man who is relentless and who's been killed and dying and killing, and he's died so many times on the battlefield, but he's risen again. He's killed so many. He's been around for 100 years, and he's like a myth. But they think they might run into this guy, and Guts. Then we cut back to Guts screaming and hollering for his men to let him go and go inside the castle or cavern, or it's some type of grand hallway where tons and dozens of his men have been slaughtered, and one man comes out and half his face, half his body's gone, like left side of his body, arm and upper left torso is gone, and Guts is just pissed because these are 3 years he's been working with these people, and they become his close friends, his closest thing he's ever gone to a family in years, and he is super just pissed. He goes in there alone, all half-cocked and gun-ho, and he finds a giant of a man of 10 feet tall, spiky hair, what do you call it, kind of a hooked underbite with two kind of orc-like protruding pronounced teeth, and it's Nosferatu ZODD, and he's just this Goliath of a man. And he has this giant kind of meat cleaver-like sword, like a scepter, and they have a battle, and just It took everything in Guts' strength just to parry his sword, and it's just a fantastic battle. I'll just say Guts himself is a Goliath on the battlefield, but he's truly fighting a demon-like giant, and this is the first time that Guts has ever encountered a supernatural being. They have a fantastic fight. Guts is given everything he's got. He actually wounds Nosferatu Zod, actually cuts him, and Zod, it's been like, he says, it's been like 50 years since somebody has ever wounded me like that. Zod throws down his sword, and he begins to transform. He turns into this bull-like demon. I don't know, he turns into some type of bear bull demon thing. Very devil-like, very, I don't want to say generic, but very... You ever seen, what was it called? Oh, shit, I forget the movie's name. Whatever, he has giant horns. He's just very intimidating. It looks like some type of, I don't want to say generic demon, but he looks just menacing in every sense of the word. He's grown twice in height. He's giant. He swings his claws, knocks out Guts, then comes in, comes after Guts, grabs him by both arms, about to rip him in half, and then flying of arrows come and pierce him in the skin, and tell that it's Griffith with a bunch of archermen. Griffith comes in, tries to save Guts. They have a 2-on-1 battle. They barely make it alive. The only thing that saved them was Griffith's necklace, the Baylet. And when he sees that Baylet, Zod, that is, he has this look on his face. It's like, oh, you have that. Fascinating. And he's like, and he points at Guts and says, if you find this man truly your friend, I'm paraphrasing, of course, he will suffer and die and stuff like that. He sprouts wings and he flies out the roof. And Guts and Griffith barely make it alive, just battle scarred and beaten up. Days later, Griffith is still wondering. He has these words in his head echoing in his brain. Then he goes, walks up, trying to talk to Griffith, but he's being not interviewed, but talked to by a bunch of nobles and stuff, but they're not allowed in because the whole, taboo code of society and hierarchy and all that. So he tries to goes in, he knocks out some guards, and Casca gives him shit. Casca so far has been nothing more than a mean bitch through the series, really. But that'll soon change. She'll probably later on become the most likable and, I won't say token character, but quasi-comic relief, really. But moving it, that's still a long way down the road. Final thoughts, that this was a great volume. It shows a lot. It's packed with character development and other crap I've just been yammering on. I've just blah 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 blah. But all I can say, if you love Berserk, really, you gotta do yourself. If you love the anime, you gotta do yourself a great honor and read the manga first, and you'll see just how much the anime does not do it justice. And I'm so psyched that they're making a new anime. I'm just whoa. Anyway, yeah, that was it. May the forces of evil become confused on your house. Goodbye.